Hello, welcome to today's video where we're going to be talking about the samurais and their military training to be considered a samurai from a young age. And during this time, it was considered the way of the horse and the bow. And it was a very extensive and very rigorous training period for young samurais to be able to uphold the military honor that lasted with them during their entire stretch as a warrior. So the first thing that young samurai learned was under an archery master. They were apprentices to archery masters, and they would practice archery until they were able to shoot the target without even thinking about it. If you've ever played a sport, or if you've ever even done things like video games, if you know how to draw, a lot of the skills that you learn are due to muscle memory. Why is it that you can consistently shoot free throws and make it into the hoop? It's because you've been practicing the same movement with your legs and with your arms over and over again. Similarly, under their archery training, their mentor would make their minds kind of hardened to the pressure, and they would be required to practice and practice and practice until their body just knew what to do when the time came. Not only did they have to learn archery from standing on solid ground, they also had to learn how to shoot a target while galloping on a moving horse. Yeah, that's a lot of intense training for sure. So the second thing that they were trained to do was something called fencing or swordsmanship. So I'm sure that you've seen images or videos of people fencing with long metal sticks. That was something that samurai were trained to do from a young age, along with swordsmanship, fighting with a sword, which is kind of similar. And in the Japanese way of training, the way that they wanted to fight was that they wanted their enemy to make the first move. And the Japanese learned to stay out of the range of the weapons that their enemies were wielding. So the Japanese soldiers would also train in tight spaces and against multiple opponents. Kind of like in their archery skills and their archery training, samurai had to train until they were able to defeat their enemies, defeat who they were up against without thinking about it. The third thing that samurai had to learn was martial arts. And I know that you guys have seen images of karate, taekwondo, judo, sumo wrestling even. They had to learn how to use their physical body without any weapons to defeat maybe a armed enemy. A lot of times during battle, Japanese soldiers would either break or lose their sword. And so what are you going to do? Just give up and die? No. They learn to use things like metal fans and objects around them to defeat their enemies. And they would practice this over and over again, alongside martial arts, to use their physical body, the limbs that they have, the brain that they have, to outsmart or overpower their enemy. So samurai fighting was kind of different than the typical war that you usually think of. First, they have a messenger who is not involved in the army, the physical army, who are not necessarily samurais. They would meet together in a general location and decide where the fight is going to happen and at what time. And then the opposing armies stand about 100 yards apart or a few hundred yards apart and face each other. Each soldier would yell out across the field what their name was, who their ancestors were, why they were fighting, and the heroic deeds that they've done. After the army has gone through this roll call, they charged at each other and tried to get soldiers off of their horses and dismount them. They would also fire arrows at each other and tried to kind of forge forward. So as the battle continued to go, samurai would try to find people on their enemy teams who were ranked similarly to them. So they would kind of go into a one-on-one combat with people who were on their level, and they would immediately try to knock them off of their horses, wrestle them to the ground, and kill them eventually.